What's happening in the Champions League? And we have Mr. George Aluo in the house. Mr. Aluo, welcome.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I'm sure yesterday you were watching some of the matches.
In fact, okay, all the matches were interesting.
Okay,
so you have to alternate.
So you had to alternate.
Move from
but let's look at, particularly at the Barcelona AC Milan. It ended 3-2.
That was the biggest match on the night because it was against the defending champions and against a Milan side that was determined to prove a point. They left Nou Camp with a draw, valuable draw, scored in the first minute of that game, scored in the last minute of that game too. And yesterday they wanted to win at home, but Barcelona, being what they were, took the fight to them, succeeded in beating them. It was a thriller, 3-2 it ended, but I think AC Milan, from all indications, gave a good account of themselves. They did. I think it was a match that lived up to its billing.
Yes, apart from AC Milan, Barcelona, we had Chelsea, Bayern Leverkusen, Valencia, Genk, Marseille, Olympiacos, Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund. That match, the Arsenal-Dortmund match, what do you think? And what do you think of the fate of the English Premier League teams?
Well, Arsenal did well, winning their game at home, and I think they are true to the knockout stage. And Arsenal appears to be the only English Premiership side that is comfortable at the moment. The others may just end up playing in the Europa League. It might be the biggest surprise of this year's Champions League, because as it were now, Man City should just forget it after losing to Napoli 2-1 away, so they are out of it totally. I don't see any miracle bringing Man City back, as it were. They may be doing well in the EPL leading, but in the Champions League is as good as a forgotten battle after losing that game in Napoli. And Napoli could be very stubborn at home. They've never lost a Champions League game at home. Very hostile fans. Their fans line up behind them, and Man City couldn't survive that. And then if you look at Chelsea lost yesterday, and they need to play their last game against Valencia.
Okay, we have the results screen on the screen there now. Chelsea lost yesterday by 2 goals
they lost
to 1.
2-1 away, and that puts them. They are working on a tightrope, like I said. All the English Premiership teams, apart from Arsenal, that are true, are all working on a tightrope. They may end up, including Man U.
Yes,
and I think the biggest gainers of the night was the team from Cyprus. They got a valuable draw in St. Petersburg, and that will be the first team from Cyprus to qualify for the knockout stage of the Champions League.
So
that club was formed about 85 years ago, and they've made history. They celebrated that draw they got in St. Petersburg with glee, as if they won the Champions League. So for them, it's a real massive historic feat. And you look at the other games, Barcelona, AC Milan.
Yeah, Olympiacos, Marseille lost at home.
Yeah, and it was a sweet revenge for Olympiacos, because Marseille beat them away, and this time they took the revenge and won 1-0. I think that was one of the biggest surprises of the night. That is Taiwo's former club, and where Taiwo is playing now, Milan, he was nowhere near the pitch yesterday night. He's out of favor in that club. And like we said, Valencia beating Racing Genk by 7 goals to nothing, and that kind of confidence they are going to carry it. They take that confidence into their next game on December 7th against Chelsea.
December 6th, they're playing against Chelsea, and they're playing at home. Chelsea's playing at home.
Chelsea's playing at home.
Do you think Valencia will be able to do that kind of? They may not be able to do that kind of havoc, but
well, Chelsea, I think, going by the head-to-head rule, what Chelsea will be needing is a goalless draw. The first leg ended 1-1, and Valencia would be looking for a win. So Chelsea would really need to up their game this time around, because they've not been doing well even on the home front, losing to Liverpool, and then going away again to go and lose to Bayern Leverkusen. Shows you that the new man on the block, De Boer, is really under pressure. Somebody was saying yesterday, like De Boer, like Siasia, youthful coach. He's just 33 thereabout, and he's not able to manage Chelsea, and we hope Ibrahimovic will not fight fire him.
Let's leave the Champions League and come back home to the.
And Man U too, the biggest of them all, Man U may not equally survive it. They have a game against Basel in their last game on December 6th,
yes,
and they must win. And Basel, drew 3-3 with them at Old Trafford,
yeah.
So they need to manage that. If not, Man U may end up even playing in the Europa League.
So basically, at the end of the day, the only English team that
is
looking
sure
good
of anything at the moment is Arsenal.
Okay.
Arsenal is really looking good. They are true to the knockout stage, but the other teams will have to play the matches of their life if they must go through.
What about in the English Premier League? How's Arsenal performing there?
They started badly, but I think they are beginning to pick up the bits and pieces, and they are bouncing back gradually. Arsenal fans are beginning to celebrate once more, but the start of the season was not really good. But at the moment, I think their MVP, Van Persie, is really on fire. He scored a brace yesterday night, and I think he is really the man that Arsenal fans should be thanking for their resurgence.
Okay. Now, the English Premier League has seen quite a lot of surprises so far. We have teams that were Swansea is like causing havoc all over the place. Norwich City. These teams were Queen's Park Rangers, they were nowhere. They were in the normal league, and now they're coming up to cause havoc in the major league.
Exactly, you see them beating their teams like Chelsea, but it's even good for the Premiership because the Premiership is a place where, agreed, you have the big four, but anything could happen. It's not like the La Liga where you have say Barcelona and Real Madrid in a world of their own. Home and away they beat everybody, but in the EPL, that is what makes it interesting. Queen Park Rangers could go out there and beat Chelsea. Swansea could go out there and beat Man U. So the gap is not, it is a very tight one. Fine, you have the big four, but even the big four is no longer there, because at the moment Man City was not up there, but they are on top of the EPL at the moment. So I think that is what makes the Premiership really competitive and interesting.
So what do you think that Man City can hold on to that lead even till the end?
I see them because they have a good team. They have a good team. They are glorious of this world, and they have a vibrant attack. That is one
Man City has a good team. What's giving teams like Swansea City and Queen's Park Rangers that bite? What's giving them that bite? Is it the desire to topple the big names?
Of course, the desire to topple the big names. In fact, it's all over Europe like that. If you look at the Benfica team, for instance, that came to Old Trafford to play Man U, they were determined to prove a point that yes, we can do it. And they went ahead in the early.
And they're doing this without any big names, so to speak.
Of course. And any person that is playing, any player that is playing for Swansea is as good as playing for any of the big teams. Also, then we give, for instance, Arsenal at a point showed interest in him and some of the big clubs, but he is with West Brom. So it shows you that any of these boys could play in any of the big teams. So you don't underrate any team in the EPL.
Okay. Well, back home here in Nigeria, the Dream Team 5, is currently in Morocco, and they're supposed to be preparing for a pre-Olympics tournament. And there are stories, reports of sabotage here and there. How do you think they'll be doing?
Yeah, I'm not surprised with what is happening to the Dream Team. If you follow, as somebody who has followed this round leader game for some time now, you don't play into the hand of your opponent. That is what the Nigerian Football Federation has just done by playing into the hand of the Moroccans. Yes, they had an understanding, yes, if you come, we'll throw the facilities open for you and all that. That agreement was signed. But by the time the Dream Team got there, they discovered that the Moroccans are hostile. So what I'm saying in effect is that the Nigerian Football Federation should have made alternative arrangements. This happens when Enyimba, for instance, won the CAF Champions League. They never took anything for granted. Anyansi is a member of Nigerian Football Federation board for Christ's sake at the moment. He knows how these things are constructed. If you play into the hands of your opponent, they deal with you. Now, the Dream Team had no training facility, no place to train, and before they jetted that to Morocco, the Moroccans said, yes, we'll provide all these things for you, we'll allow you train. But when they got there, they are not being allowed to use the same facilities where they will play these games. So what the Nigerian Football Federation should have done is to make alternative arrangements using the Nigerian High Commission in Morocco. You get alternative training venues, you put everything in place without depending on the host. But the host appears to be messing us up. And don't forget that the Moroccans, for Christ's sake, are hosting to pick one of these tickets. So you don't expect them to begin to treat you with some level of friendliness. No. And then it appears to that we did not reckon with the weather. Austin Eguavon is complaining that his boys are training with T-shirt when they should be training with... It's cold and windy in Morocco at the moment. So, and what we should have done is to even move to the northern region during the pre-tournament training outing that we had in Ghana. Ghana is very hot like Nigeria. These boys went to Ghana, trained for 1 week or so, came back to Nigeria before moving to Morocco. I think better planning, we should have moved to somewhere in the northern region.
In terms of timing,
the dream team planning has not been the best at the moment.